Welcome to Howard's Opinion, the podcast where we dive into the world of sports and give you my unfiltered take on all the latest news and developments. I'm your host, Howard, and I'm excited to share my thoughts with you today. We've got a big show for you today, folks, as the college football season is heating up and the playoff picture is starting to take shape. But first, let's talk about the big news out of the SEC. Texas A&M has taken down LSU, ending the Brian Kelly era in Baton Rouge. The Aggies are looking strong, with a 49-25 win over the Tigers, and they're now the top-ranked team in the SEC. But what does this mean for the rest of the conference? Alabama is still lurking, having rallied off 7 wins in a row since their season, opening loss to Florida State. And don't count out Georgia, who strung together 3 wins in a row after a tough loss to the Crimson Tide. And it's not just the SEC that's getting interesting. The Big Ten is also seeing some shakeups. Indiana is looking like a real contender, staying undefeated with a 56-6 win over UCLA. And Ohio State is still sitting pretty at the top of the rankings, with a dominant 34-0 win over Wisconsin. But here's the thing, with all these teams vying for playoff spots, it's going to be a wild ride down the stretch. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be one of the traditional powerhouses like Alabama or Ohio State, or will a dark horse like Indiana or Texas A&M crash the party? We'll be breaking it all down and giving you my expert opinion on what it all means for the world of college football. And that's just the beginning. We've got plenty more sports news to discuss, from the NFL to the NBA and beyond. So sit back, relax, and get ready to join the conversation. We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, speaking to you from the world of sports, where the drama of athletic competition often intersects with the harsh realities of life. This is Howard Closewell speaking, and today we're discussing a story that highlights the complexities of fame, personal struggles, and the consequences of one's actions. Ladies and gentlemen, former NFL star Adrian Peterson has found himself in the headlines once again, but this time, it's not for his impressive rushing yards or touchdowns. According to reports from CBS Sports, Peterson was arrested in Sugar Land, Texas, on charges of DWI and unlawful possession of a weapon. Now, I know what you're thinking, another athlete struggling with personal demons, but let me tell you, this is a story that warrants our attention. In my humble opinion, Adrian Peterson's case is a prime example of how the pressures of fame, coupled with personal struggles, can lead individuals down a path of self-destruction. We've seen it time and time again in the world of sports. Talented athletes who, despite their success on the field, struggle to navigate the complexities of life off the field. Now, I'm not here to pass judgment on Peterson's actions, but rather to offer some context and insight into the broader issues at play. The fact that Peterson was arrested earlier this year on similar DWI charges raises concerns about his well-being and his ability to seek help when needed. And let's not forget, folks, that this is a man who has been in the public eye for over a decade, with all the pressures and expectations that come with it. As I always say, tell it like it is. The sports industry has a responsibility to support its athletes, both on and off the field. We need to create an environment where individuals feel comfortable seeking help without fear of judgment or repercussions. It's time for us to take a hard look at the systems in place and ask ourselves, are we doing enough to support our athletes? The drama of athletic competition is often thrilling, but it's also important to remember that these are human beings we're talking about, with flaws, weaknesses, and personal struggles. As we watch them perform on the field, let's not forget the complexities of their lives off the field. In conclusion, Adrian Peterson's story serves as a reminder of the importance of supporting our athletes, both on and off the field. It's a call to action for all of us to create an environment that prioritizes well-being, mental health, and personal growth. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Howard's Opinion. We'll be discussing the latest developments in the world of college athletics, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on the implications of recent rule changes. It's going to be a fascinating conversation, so don't go anywhere. This is Howard Closewell speaking, and we'll be back after this break. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. We've got a jam-packed closing segment for you today, diving into the wild world of sports. I'm your host, Howard, and we're going to break down all the action from Week 8. First off, let's talk about some of the standout performances. Breece Hall was an absolute beast for the New York Jets, leading his team to a comeback victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. And what can you say about Myles Garrett? The guy's a force to be reckoned with on the defensive line. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, folks. We saw some pretty rough moments out there, too. Dylan Gabriel's intentional grounding penalty in the end zone was a head-scratcher, and Kirk Cousins' performance didn't exactly inspire confidence. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Howard, what about Drake May's MVP bid? Well, let me tell you, the kid's got game. He's making a strong case for himself, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. And then there are the injuries. Cam Skattebo's season-ending injury was a tough blow, not just for his team, but for fans everywhere who love watching exciting players like him take the field. As we wrap up today's show, I've got a few more quick hits to share with you. Christian McCaffrey's usage, or lack thereof, is a mystery to me. And what's going on with the Cowboys' defense? They're getting torched out there. Spencer Rattler's struggles continue, and it's starting to look like his time as a starter might be coming to an end. On the other hand, Todd Bowles deserves some serious Coach of the Year consideration for keeping the Bucs afloat despite all their injuries. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, these are some of my humble thoughts.